Who doesn't love a limited edition kit? I mean, really. I'm Julie Golob, a world and national shooting champion, author, veteran wife, mom, and a pro shooter for Smith & Wesson. They very kindly sent me the new Smith & Wesson Performance Center Spec series to share with you all. I'm excited for this one, and if you've watched my other product feature videos, here's the quick obligatory FTC disclaimer. As a Smith & Wesson ambassador and shooter for several different companies in the shooting industry, firearms and ammo, as well as shooting gear, in this video are from my sponsors. All right, so without further ado, on to the PC Spec series. Everything fits inside the plastic case. It's a bit larger than other M&P plastic cases, and when you open it up, it is completely custom fit for all the accessories and the firearm inside. Let's start with what I view as the bonus items. There's a Spec Series Challenge coin. It has an M&P logo with a shield on one side and the pistol embossed on the other. I have a nice challenge coin collection from my time in the Army, and I've always liked the concept of them. To me, this is a very nice nod to a neat military tradition. Next, we have the knife. It is a karambit style knife with a 2.5-inch blade. This is a popular knife style because of its versatility, known for its uses for defense and also practical applications like preparing food, carving, and whittling. It has a fixed blade, and it also comes with a fitted sheath. I love it when knives come with sheaths, so that's definitely a plus. Now, on to the other gun stuff. You get 4 magazines with this one, 2 17-round mags and 2 23-rounders, so the possibility of 80, and of course plus 1 rounds. More mags are always better, and the fact that this kit comes with 4 mags, especially both the flush fit and the extended 23-rounders, yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. Let's talk about the pistol. First, this is not just a fancy limited edition pistol in a different color with some engraving and some swag items. Yes, you can certainly purchase one of these and save it as a collector's piece if you like, but it's a pistol designed to be used. Starting with the overall look, I do have a soft spot for two-tone guns, and I really like the way this pistol looks with the black accents. The frame and the slide are all Cerakoted in OD green, and the black accents are the slide release, takedown lever, mag button, the iron sights, the palm swells and their retainer, the front strap, the external extractor, the slide cover plate for the optic, trigger, barrel, any visible pins and screws, and the compensator. More on this comp in a bit, but when it comes to color, green can skew warm or cool, even olive green shades. And to compare it, I brought out my metal, the competitor in tungsten gray Cerakote, the gray Spec series, and the M&P M2.0 in FDE so that you can see the shade differences. People see colors differently, but to my eyes, where the gray Spec series is a true lighter and cooler gray, the tungsten gray on the metal and the competitor skews warmer. The FDE is by far the warmest of the shades here, and in comparison, the PC Spec series is a cooler toned neutral. Not that color is everything, but it is interesting to compare them, and you like what you like. I'll be showing more comparisons as I talk about the features of this pistol, and while I show you the footage, I'll do my best to label each pistol accordingly, just in case you have experiences with the others or are interested in how the PC Spec series differs. Structurally, the PC Spec series frame is aluminum, just like the standard M&P metal and the competitor. It has a Picatinny style rail for accessories. You have the cutouts and the grip for easier access to the mag button. And speaking of the mag button, it has texture on it, and it can also be switched out to the other side. As with all M&P M2.0 M&Ps, you get the 4 palm swell sizes: small, medium, large, and large. This one currently has the medium on it, though I will switch it out to a small to accommodate my hand size. I'll leave my video on the M&P metal linked below in case you'd like to watch that one for more details about these aluminum framed M&Ps. The PC Spec series is an optics-ready pistol with Smith & Wesson's core system, so with the various plates that come in the box, it's going to fit most of the standard size pistol-mounted red dots on the market. Personally, I'm looking to add one of the Trijicon RMR HDs or an RCR to this one eventually. It also comes with suppressor height night sights. The night sights are an added bonus to the traditional white dot sights, and this is what they look like in dark lighting conditions. There are some differences aside from just the looks of the M&P Metal and also the competitor. On the Performance Center Spec Series, you have a 4.8-inch stainless steel barrel that is also laser engraved with the same shield that you see on the Challenge coin. The total height is 5.5 inches and the length is 8.5 inches. I wanted to show you some comparisons of how the PC Spec Series looks side by side with the other pistols that I've mentioned, specifically the Spec Series in gray with its shorter grip, the M&P Metal, competitor, and the FDE M2.0 M&P. You're going to see a lot of that gun as well in this video. I'll start by showing the PC Spec Series and the FDE M&P9 5-inch. You can see the differences in the slide serrations from the barely there serrations toward the front of the slide on the FDE model to the Spec Series and its more substantial serrations. Here's the gray Spec Series with the PC Spec Series. Again, notice the color, size difference, and the serration styling. Next, we have the M&P Metal with the scalloped rear serrations and wavy front serrations as it compares to the PC Spec Series. When showing the competitor with the PC Spec Series, you can see how the lightning cuts differ from the competitors, and instead of the two long slim cuts along the top, you have one large cut towards the front of the barrel. Also, along the sides of the slide, where the competitor has three angled cuts, the PC Spec Series has just one on each side. The slide stops, and then the compensator is attached to the barrel. This is a Faxon compensator, and Smith & Wesson worked with Faxon to ensure not only a great fit, but a seamless look too. The compensator is secured in place with Loctite and set screws, but you can remove this and put a suppressor on this pistol. It does also come with a checkered thread protector in the case as well. The comp features a big single port along the top and then two side ports so that it's launching that gas not only upwards but out the sides as well. From my experience shooting with open guns in competition, this is a smart way to go instead of just the upper ports, especially on such a short compensator. Unlike open race guns where you'll be using an adjustable open holster, overall length really matters for a gun like the PC Spec Series where a more tactical style holster will most likely be used. The comp helps reduce the muzzle climb while still maintaining a size and length that will fit in a duty style or even a concealed carry holster if you so choose. Probably the hardest thing when sharing a product is relating the differences between how a gun feels while it shoots. And one of the best ways that I feel I'm able to show this comparison is to shoot from a supported position to demonstrate the ejection port side while trying to be as consistent as possible when shooting the pistols. I have one of my Caldwell tack driver bags set up on a barrel, and I'm using a specific aiming point while trying to apply the same amount of grip pressure and shooting the same cadence as best as I can. Though, spoiler alert, you'll see in the footage I can't help but shoot the Spec Series just a little bit faster. What I'm hoping to demonstrate is how the Performance Center Spec Series compares to a non-ported, non-compensated M&P, the M&P9 M2.0 5-inch in FDE. I chose that pistol because the overall length is so similar and it has a stock slide, so no lightning cuts or modifications. I also wanted to shoot several loads to see if there was any noticeable difference. I shoot for federal ammunition, so I opted to use 115 grain and 147 grain offerings. First up is Federal's 115 grain American Eagle. This full metal jacket round nose is a very popular range round. I start with the M&P9 FDE for 5 rounds, followed by the Performance Center Spec Series in 5 rounds. And here's a side-by-side comparison of these shots. Next, we have 115 grain Federal Train and Protect ammo. This is a great combo option for both range use and defense. It uses a hollow point full metal jacket projectile. Jumping up in grain weight, I'm shooting 147 grain full metal jacket flat point American Eagle for this next set of 10 rounds, 5 out of each gun. This has been one of my favorite loads for competition for many years. This is what a heavier bullet with slower velocity looks like. Finally, I have some Syntech 147 grain training match. This is the purple total synthetic jacket, and it offers the same velocity, trajectory, and point of impact of Federal's HST defense ammo. Oh, recovery. So fast. I also loaded up a magazine with a total of 10 rounds, 2 of each of the loads that I've mentioned, but I also added into the mix 124 grain Syntech so that you can see what the recoil impulse looks like all stacked up from an unsupported position. Aside from the comp, one thing that makes this pistol interesting to shoot is that though it has the 5-inch overall length, the sight radius is actually shorter so that the front sight looks bigger and closer than it does compared to shooting a 5-inch gun. So the front sight would normally be here, but it's actually much closer to your eyes. It also tracks differently because of that length versus sight radius. Of course, I've said this probably 100 times on this channel. A longer sight radius makes it easier to shoot more accurately at greater distances because you can see the subtle changes in your sight picture. You'll notice this far more on compacts and subcompacts than the longer slides and barrels of full-size guns, but it is worth mentioning. Moving on to the trigger. The trigger on this gun is sweet, and it has an enhanced sear with a flat-faced trigger. If you've handled the competitor, you know the feel in this one. Weighing it on my Tipton electronic trigger gauge, it comes in right around 4 pounds. I think that's such a sweet spot trigger weight for so many applications. The take-up is nice and loose until you feel that tension before the clean break. Yeah, that's nice. This is a gun that you can use for a variety of applications. It's very smooth, it has a nice reset, and the ergonomics of that flatter trigger make it much more forgiving for hand and finger size and trigger finger position. In fact, shooting the FDE M2.0 with that curved trigger kind of feels foreign to me after using this new flat face trigger that you see on so many M&Ps. So, you want to know, how does it shoot? Well, because of the comp and knowing that it would likely be louder than my other M&P9s, I went ahead and doubled up on hearing protection before I shot this, using both earplugs and muffs. Right off the bat, I noticed the cycle rate and how fast the slide moved and recovered onto my aiming point. Lighter bullets with faster velocities are generally the preferred way to go when shooting compensated pistols, but even the heavier bullets shoot well, and I can feel a substantial difference with this compensator, and yes, even with a pistol chambered in 9mm. When going back and forth between that FDE and this PC Spec series, the Spec series trigger is, I gotta say, it's far superior. So much so that it is hard not to shoot faster. Really hard. Bottom line, this is a great package for an optics-ready M&P with an excellent trigger, 4 mags, plus the other cool stuff, and of course, the color's pretty awesome too. In my opinion, the compensator and the trigger combo make this pistol a standout even without all of the other added gear. If you've been wanting a compensated M&P with an excellent trigger right out of the box at an MSRP of $9.99, you'll definitely want to check out the PC Spec series. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please let me know what you think of the PC Spec series, whether it's on your wish list to try, or what features you like the most. I enjoy hearing from you. If you have any questions I can help answer, drop them in the comment section and I'll do my best to address them. Of course, a like is always appreciated, a share even more, a subscribe is loved. And until the next one, be safe, have fun, and live your life fully loaded. You gotta try this out. It's really good.